Starkweather to Delta. Your time has come. You're moving out to the island.
Secret weapon that they were going to be using, because it was right in front of their nose. So to me, this is the secret weapon being displayed right in front of our nose, and people don't realize what was here or what's underground and still here underground.
In your book, you mentioned if it's underground, it could be evil.
Anything that has to hide under the ground doesn't have good intentions. That's my opinion.
And here in the United States, there are other sites underground which you've enumerated which fall into that category.
There's approximately 131 underground bases, probably more by now, across the continent of the United States, but there are many more in other countries and even under the ocean.
This is a decommissioned Air Force base. You also write that the government at this present time is utilizing Air Force bases for other purposes.
They're creating it as detention centers and re-education centers to be used in the future when the New World Order becomes public knowledge. And you know what we see in Guantanamo now in Cuba? Picture that across the United States. If you look at that new piece that's connected to the antenna there, it is very snake-like in design, and to me looks kind of like a winged dragon, and even parts of it could look like the head of the Sphinx. So a very curious connection to a reptilian energy.
We are a hollow army, gentlemen. Vietnam has crushed our soul. We have to dream a new America. An America that no longer has an exploitative view of natural resources, no longer promotes consumption at all cost. But to achieve this dream, we must become the first superpower to develop superpowers. We must create warrior monks, men and women who can fall in love with everyone, sense plant auras, pass through walls, stop saying mindless cliches, and see into the future. I want you to join me in this vision. Be all you can be.
Among Bill's audience that day was a brigadier general from the Defense Intelligence Agency, Dean Hopgood. For some time, the general had been concerned with Soviet research into psychic powers. According to some stories, the Soviets had designed psychotronic generators, machines capable of bombarding the president with negative energy. They were also conducting sadistic experiments to see whether animals had psychic powers. Could they, for instance, telepathically detect that their babies were distressed?
Sick bastards. The But when did the Soviets begin this type of research?
Well, sir, it looks like they found out about our attempt to telepathically communicate with one of our nuclear subs, the Nautilus, while it was under the polar cap.
What attempt?
There was no attempt. Seems the story was a French hoax. But the Russians think the story about the story being a French hoax is just a story, sir.
So they've started doing psi research because they thought we were doing psi research, when in fact we weren't doing psi research?
Yes, sir. But now that they are doing psi research, we're going to have to do psi research, sir. We can't afford to have the Russians leading the field in the paranormal.
2 weeks later, the Army adopted the slogan, "Be all you can be," and appointed Bill commander of the 1st New Earth Army Battalion.
Vítima. Liu Crawl.
Was a sergeant at Fort Bragg who could find whatever you needed found. It was as if Lynn could fly anywhere in the world without leaving his room. As Bill said, the force truly was strong with this one.
I'm Sergeant First Class Lynn Cassidy, Special Forces, retired. In the 80s, I was trained at Fort Bragg under a secret initiative, codenamed Project Jedi. The objective of the project was to create super soldiers, soldiers with superpowers. We were the first generation of the New Earth Army.
You've got superpowers.
That's correct.
Wait a minute. What you're saying is that you were a psychic spy like Lacey.
We prefer the term remote viewer.
How does that work?
Well, different Jedi had different techniques. Mel Landau used to visualize packing all his troubles into a little suitcase to clear his mind. And Steve Tuttle would recite Bible verse, which was...
What about you?
I find drinking helps. And if I'm listening to classic rock.
Oh yeah, like who?
I like Boston music.
What other powers would you practice?
Invisibility.
Invisibility?
Yeah, that was level 3.
Like actual invisibility?
Well, yeah, that was the goal. Eventually we adapted it to just finding a way of not being seen. But once you understand the linkage between observation and reality, then you begin to dance with invisibility.
Like camouflage?
No, it's not like camouflage. We also practice phasing, crossing from particle to wave, from physical to energy. Solid objects seem to pass right through you. That starts with a breathing exercise. You go, and then you think black. That's a nothingness. Got it? It's...
I don't know what... Can I be honest with you, Lynn? I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to say. This is amazing stuff. I want to... Could I write a story about this?
Not gonna happen.
Because I've been looking for a story, Lynn, and I was going to write about the rebuild contracts, but this is much better. This is much better.
Not gonna happen.
All I'm saying is we could meet tomorrow. And
I'm shipping out tomorrow.
What? You going home?
Going to Iraq. I'm thinking about partnering on a factory in Al-Qaim.
Oh. I could come.
What?
I could come, maybe.
Look, I don't want to be a story. I don't need the attention.
No, we could change names. Stuff could stay.
Look, there's a war over there, Bob. You understand that? War. Now, I don't want to have to be looking out for you.
You wouldn't have... I look after myself. I've been in some pretty hairy situations. I'm a journalist, Lynn. You understand? I'm a journalist. I go where the story is.
What is this? New Earth Army.
Who destroyed it?
I did. Cooper and Holtz wanted me to do an experiment. They wanted me to stop the heart of a goat. What had that goat ever done to me? It was completely against the way of the Jedi. I was just going to pretend to try so they could see what would work and they would forget about it. But then, as I sat there, I felt this pulse inside me. I couldn't stop it. Maybe deep down inside, some dark part of me wanted to see if I could do